There we go. Welcome, everybody. God bless. Have a great night. This is going to be a fun night. We're here to game and do Relics of War. And that's what happens when I start talking quick because I was shuffling some papers. Thankfully, we have players that are very attentive. We do have one MIA for tonight. For those watching that really like to see Barry smiling, his player is not here at the moment, but he might be stopping in a little bit later. It all depends on the winds of fate and whatnot. Let's start off with a quick introduction. This is Relics of War. We play every Tuesday night for 2 hours flash, and sometimes you get really odd things like looking at keyboards and other stuff. It really depends on how creative we want to be. That's pretty much the view right now when you see that black and everything fading in and out, that we left one of the NPCs as Lythandr there, choked him out, and NorthWatch sat there just beating this guy down from on top. So the pair tag team somebody right at the end of last session. But let's talk to the players who actually made all that happen. Let's start with NorthWatch, then we'll go to Lythandr, and we'll go to Iounia. Seth, bring us in for the night. Tell everybody how your week's been, how you doing, and what you're looking forward to this evening.
I am fine. Nothing went bad this week.
Oh.
I am happy. It's good to see you all. I'm happy to play.
Fantastic.
Welcome to
what
Distraction.
What are you looking forward to most?
I
Now that
don't
you
know.
have the villain, knocked out and all that.
Well, I'm going to assume that we already took out the big bad evil guy of the whole campaign, and show's over. So I don't know. I guess this is the
This
epilogue.
is just the epilogue. Yeah.
Yeah,
Epilogue.
we get to see what like this is the
epic
post
log.
This is the credit sequence where it shows like freeze frames of every character and puts text on the screen what they went on to go do it themselves.
Oh God.
Precisely. Oh, Lythandr, Kitty, tell us how your week's been and what you're looking forward to tonight.
So my week's been just fine. Actually hunky dory. But let's see here. And wait, what else was it? I only heard the first part, then I started talking.
What are you looking forward to?
Oh, thank you. I'm looking forward to being able to hopefully get this guy in a compound and interrogate him. I doubt any of that's gonna happen, but if Lythandr had his way, he'd find out where all of his stolen goods are for his own purposes.
I think we know where they all are. The one family came and took them.
Well, we don't know if he has a secret stash somewhere else.
It's a lot to assume.
I mean, I feel like he's been in the business for years.
Could have several stashes.
You know?
This could be. This absolutely could be.
Stash is it's like chips. You can't have just one. Gotta have more than one stash.
Lythandr knows nothing about this, but generally agrees.
In his unprofessional opinion.
You know.
Arya, tell us how your week's been and tell us what you're looking forward to tonight.
My week's been fine. A little bit crazy busy. Been running around a lot this week, but otherwise fine. It's nice to sit down and play some D&D for a couple hours here. I'm looking forward to kicking butt and taking names.
Outstanding. Great night. Well, you know what? We're going to start off with a little kicking butt. Let's make this happen. We'll set the scene for all of our viewers who have been wondering what's going on. This intrepid group of adventurers who came into Sharn to meet their friend Barry. Except Barry, unlike tonight, was actually there to meet them inside a house with his buddy Lythandr. Unfortunately, they were getting kicked out by police, which might be where Alex is at tonight. We're really not sure. Maybe he's getting dragged arm in arm. But when they were kicked out to the street, Iounia and NorthWatch met them. Very quickly, they were embroiled in what they saw was a murder, and then they were blamed for it, and they had to prove themselves innocent. For the next 2 episodes, they've been trying to track down the real murderer, and at the climax of last week, they found Yek the Grin, a shifter in Sharn, someone with almost wolf-like tendencies and a body that changed slightly to take on these characteristics of an animal. Once they had located him, tracked him down, cornered him in an inn, they unleashed what could only be described as diplomacy with an attitude. They went in, they snuck up on this poor guy, took him out, and where we left off was right with NorthWatch beating at the guy, Lythandr choking him out underneath, and Iounia standing out in the hallway out back kind of like just watching in case the guy tried to escape. Shortly after he was confined, strapped up, they got a hold of the Sharn Watch. Sergeant, excuse me, not Sergeant. Cavill. Is he a sergeant? I'm trying to remember.
That was a private.
Yeah.
He's a private,
Yeah, I know he was pretty low level. Private Cavill, at least he might be getting demoted tonight, but he's Private Cavill tonight.
What's below private?
Fired.
Unemployed.
And it was Sergeant Ibo, so he was a private. Private Cavill in the outfit was brought in and called the guards and was taking him captive and congratulating the others and just saying how it was going to be very good and I expect to reach to you tomorrow. We'll have him locked up and everything will go great. In fact, he drops a bag of money onto the counter, says it's going to be free drinks for everybody, including large NorthWatch or Warforged, who doesn't need to drink, but hey, there's a lot of Warforged around, and maybe some of them do drink. The interesting thing is, as they head towards the door, they start to hear a lot of noise, and it must be, since it's morning, all the people outside. But it quickly turns to screaming, and Yek, who is tied up with his hands behind his back, who has come around because he's standing up now, starts to smile and laugh. And he says, "You really thought it was going to be that easy?" And more screams come from outside, and you can hear something large and metal coming straight towards the inn. And suddenly, where the door is, smashes open, and you see this, what looks like a metal monster. You can't even describe whether it's a certain type of animal. It's got massive, snapping jaws, but insect-like legs and a body that's ratcheted and long like a snake. It is some sort of carnith creation is all you can think. Inside, the gears and the movement of it, it snaps, whips its head around, and these two red eyes look out, taking in Yek, and all he says is one word: "Get me free!" That's a lot for one word, but he's using some sort of language to it. Don't ask me. We're fudging that one really quick. Yek says this, and the monster comes barreling in. We need you all to roll for initiative.
Okay. Well,
Starting it right on off. All right.
you weren't joking.
That's it. You thought this was going to be quick and easy. Welcome. He had
Well.
one last.
Oh man.
Don't forget to click on your token before you roll.
My token
Yes.
is not
Roll, do it
clickable.
afterwards, and then we'll adjust the order.
My token
Oof.
is not clickable.
I can't. Oh, there's
So it's not clickable. Let's find out why.
You need to create a new token with your new character sheet. Because you made a new character sheet.
Oh,
Is that what it is?
Yeah. That is the token that is out there is a defunct character that no longer technically exists within Roll20.
Uh-oh.
What happened to my token? Oh no. We're already experiencing technical difficulties. This is fine. I don't even know
still
what.
Thank
have
you.
the old picture. That's not
Thank
your
you for
character.
bearing with us.
That is my character. It still has Doris's picture up.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to fix that.
I just kind of went and grabbed like a sketch of my character to put in there. It's not even colored or anything. I was like, I have a sketch.
And it's sitting on the side. It's not
And
rotating.
it's on its side. Ah, yeah.
This is a
She's really
That's-
casual. Iounia is just really casual.
I swear the file itself was upright when like I uploaded it, like saved on my computer. It's an upright image, but for whatever reason, Roll20 turned it on its side.
I don't know how to get my thing on the turn order.
So you have to click on your token, and while your token is selected, then click on initiative on your character
Oh, I see it. I see
So,
it.
for
Yes,
those of
that
you
is
watching,
okay.
we also give lessons on Roll20.
sheet. You know,
Many things. It's all good here.
it's good to see all sides of the role-playing experience.
You know?
My initiative got worse. I have a -3 in Dex, but I started with an initiative of 14
How do you have a -3 in Dex? Oh my gosh.
by having a 4 in your dexterity.
Lythandr doesn't understand what it means to be slow.
Not slow, just not agile.
Goodness.
Same difference.
No, very different.
No, totally the same.
But fast and slow are good.
There we go. And for our viewers, whenever they see me clicking around with the little buttons, the blue is their plot points, and the players will actually be tracking their own plot points. So when you hear me mention something about, oh, so-and-so got so many plot points, or this for during the game, they'll be putting those in the square and taking them in and out. And I know they all have their own things tracked right now on their character sheets, so they'll probably be putting those in while we watch. And I think I can actually make those persistent to view, but we're going to leave them turned off right now, because when we actually start using the map, we'll actually need those open. There we go. All right, fantastic. Now we're back to it. View mode, perfect. Now I can actually read the chat. I couldn't read the chat before. And oh, we didn't roll for the monsters. You know what?
We don't need to roll for the monsters.
I'm going to do the same thing that I usually do, because I don't know if they have it on here.
Yeah, the monsters don't really need a turn. If we can just like take turns beating on it, and then it just goes
like,
away.
It could be a test dummy.
I usually like
It's
to
fine.
have. I usually have a goat, and I like to use the goat for my default monster. Everybody in my other games is like, "Oh my god, what are we fighting?" It's the goat.
What did a goat do to you? What do you got against goats?
It spit in
Yeah,
his
it
eye
came
once.
from the first time I was playing a Roll20 game, and they didn't have the proper tokens in place, and I used a goat, and then it just kind of went from there every single time.
So you just have a goatkin instead of a token. It's a stretch. I'm sorry.
There we go. So now, at least, we can click in on the... Whoops. Here, come on, give me a character sheet here. Why are you doing that? Does he not have... He mustn't have stats attached to this one, so I'm going to delete that. Pardon me 1 second while we go and grab one that actually has something so I can roll for initiative on it.
Barry's also going to be like, since he's not really in the turn order, we're just assuming he's off to the side being our cheerleader.
Well, he was playing music previously.
You know, he's there to make us feel supported.
Yeah.
You've got it.
Cheerleader wizard.
Alright, I'm forgetting. I
He's
thought
truly
it was...
a jack of all trades.
I thought it was shift double click to get to my character sheet, but it's not letting me. Yeah, it is for you guys, just not for these ones, and yet this is what I always did for my initiative. Maybe I'm having a bad brain night. Because it's not letting me.
You can also right click on tokens and add turns that way.
Alright, that'll work. Thank
You can
Take a
manually
plot
type it
point
in.
for that.
Oh. No.
What?
What?
The cookie monster, but more evil.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it's me.
It's me. Take that as you will.
My character is way better than I will ever be.
Let's call that
Mine doesn't.
evil enemy. Because you know, all enemies have to be evil, even when you guys are the murder
Sure.
hordes.
Evil is definitely
Look,
a
I have
definable construct.
protagonitis, okay? I have to come out on top. It's a rare and fatal condition to everybody else around me except for me.
Alright,
It's-
so...
Heaven
see
forbid
what
I need
happened.
backstory and my best friend has to die.
And let me roll for him and see what his initiative is. And his initiative is a 12. And now we sort descending. That'll work. That'll work. So he came out somewhere in the middle on you guys.
Okay.
Which lets Doris Till start off at the top. Now,
Lythandr.
I will be using for the evil enemy, I will use actually that for both my combatants. So that will be for both the brass-looking serpentine monster that's coming in, as well as the shifter that is currently in custody.
Rude that he seems to think he gets a turn in all of this.
Oh, and you can ignore all these stats on mine. They do not have plot points. I mean, come on, you gotta be fair. It's like, as the DM, it's like...
They haven't made us laugh. They don't deserve a plot point.
I like that. Very good.
It's true. No, they've only made me frown.
They deserve negative plot points.
Yeah. So you said that this looked to be of Karnathi design.
Oh yeah, it absolutely. Look at your cousin.
Well, sure.
It's just a different maker.
Right.
This is a different maker for a different purpose, but this absolutely, you actually, with your perception, you catch some glimpses of dark wood vines beneath it. This is absolutely construction. Now, there's also more gears and other things that you do not have, but this is strikingly a combination of both mechanics as well as some sort of intelligence crafted into this thing.
Okay. Okay. That was one of the two.
Round is Doris, or
well,
we really
Lythandr.
gotta change that name. It's not
Yes,
Doris.
the
Otherwise,
name has to be changed.
I don't know how to do that.
I'm doing it right now.
Okay.
As we said last week, before next week, please change your tokens and all that. Get all that stuff updated. Okay. Now it's you got your name. So Lythandr, you are up.
Alright. And this thing is coming right at us?
It is.
Yeah, is there any way I can, like, abandon the group and slink off into the shadows?
Absolutely. Of course you can.
I make a stealth roll.
It's pretty good.
It's decent.
It's decent.
It's decent. You know, I wouldn't say it's, like, amazing or anything. It's just, like, a 25.
Why is it not letting me? Alright, whatever. Alright, there we go. 25, dude! You literally, like, in a moment, in a flash, Lythandr is like, bye-bye! And all of a sudden, Lythandr is gone. Yo, everyone's looking around. I swear he was standing here just a minute ago. And at that point, the guard, Cavil, who's holding this guy, says, smack with his hand against the back of Yek the Grin's head. Yek's head snaps to the side as Cavil says, what did you do? And you notice now there is blood along the snapping jaw of this thing as well as some of the legs. Whatever it did to get here, somebody has been damaged somewhere.
Not a fan of that.
But I feel like we'll get blamed for this ultimately.
They like to blame us for these things?
You know, we're just innocent bystanders.
Are you really?
Said his name was Millicent Bystander.
That's the story and we're sticking to it.
Okay, so Lythandr hid. It looks like it's the bad guy's turn next, right?
I don't know because I'm messing with my camera trying to fix where it is so that I can actually have a straight on shot. I tried something new right before and I just didn't like it because it looked like I was always looking the other way. Alright, so Yek the Grin doesn't do anything. The metal monstrosity, the creation of Cannith, comes charging in, and since it wants Yek, it comes straight in, moves towards him, and NorthWatch, who has his back, they were looking at the pile of money on the bar, which, Lythandr, did you say the pile of money off the bar by chance?
I imagine I would have last time. I don't remember, though. Let's say yes. You want me to make a stealth roll for that?
No, I don't. I just
Okay.
thought it was really funny if that's what you were doing.
If this thing's bursting through the front door, I don't think NorthWatch would have his back turned at this point.
It's actually, we're going to say, hung up partway through the front door. And
okay.
It's large enough, as it's busting through, it's going to lose its turn. Yek tries to bust free from Cavil and has absolutely no luck. So Cavil's hanging on to him after beating him on the head. Yek thought he was going to use this opportunity to disappear. but it didn't work. So it goes down to Barry. Barry, on the other hand, who's standing up top, sees this, and all of a sudden with his loot goes dun 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 dun. Like it starts sending out music to try and challenge the combat and get everybody excited, bringing some peace to those nearby as they're wondering now, is this a show? Is this like an illusion that somebody's casting spells up? They're not sure yet as it goes over to Arya's character, Iounia.
Great. I am going to move to be over next to Cable. So my idea is either to try and prevent, if this thing's going to try and free the prisoner that we just got, try and prevent it from freeing the prisoner that we just got, slash, since we were leaving, maybe there's more people outside the bar than, I mean, people inside the bar, but like there's a huge crowd of people outside the bar, and if the thing starts running off anywhere out here for some reason, I can potentially try and get in its way and fight it and stuff. I'm going to go position myself next to Cable.
You take your move, because you were already in here and whatnot, it's very easy to move over and see what's happening. You go over, you have your position, you're in place. Do you want to ready any actions?
I'm going to ready an attack with a Witch Bolt on the big metal monstrosity in case it starts attacking people and causing any damage. I mean, beyond just damaging the door that it seems to be stuck in.
Okay. You have Witch Bolt ready, and what is the trigger for that?
If it attacks people.
Oh, okay. Anybody, not any person in particular. Gotcha.
No, just if it starts attacking people.
Fantastic. NorthWatch, what are you doing?
Well, seeing this thing trying to get inside, are there still people in the establishment that we're in, like innocents?
Yeah, there was 6 to 8 that were watching the whole breakdown, the combat, the arrest of Yak. They were cheering as Cavill was brought in, drinking about it, watching this. It was exciting.
Right.
And now it's just a little more exciting in a different way.
Are any of them near the creature itself?
Depending, you don't know how far the creature can attack, what weapons it has, if it has distance. However, many of them are within 15 feet easily.
Okay.
Depending on how, unless that creature is going to move slower, but the way it came through the door, you're figuring it has at least the same amount of movement as all of you do.
Mm-hmm. So, what he'll do is, he'll actually, with a slight twirl, he'll pull out a rapier, and he'll move forward and try to push the nearest person back, and he'll shout at anybody nearby to get away from it, and he's going to try to stab it. It's already caused harm, obviously, so it's time to put this thing down.
Perfect. Do it up.
Okay. First attack roll of the game. Kind of. First lethal attack roll of the game. We'll go with that.
Let's do well.
Hey!
Ooh.
Dirty 20.
Oh, very nice. 20.
Wait,
Beautiful.
I did the wrong... Hold on, let me do the damage now. What the... Why is it not doing the damage? It's not doing the...
I don't think you're doing 25 damage. Not
No.
at level 1.
It's weird.
We're having some real roll 20 issues tonight.
Yeah, we are having some roll 20 here. I'll just roll a d8 plus 3, because that's the bonus.
I really think it's so funny. After all our great episodes that we've run smoothly and all this, tonight's just like weird.
Here we go. Here you go.
Remind everybody that.
There you go. 8 piercing damage. He stabs it for 8 damage. Yeah, see, you guys aren't getting your damage.
No.
No,
What is
yeah,
this?
it's weird.
Whatever. 8 damage. We'll go with that.
And what you're attacking it with?
A rapier, so piercing.
As your rapier hits it, it literally skids off along the brass things, and you realize trying to stab this thing with a piercing weapon, you are going to do hardly any damage to it whatsoever.
Okay.
So of course, because we're always talking to our viewers as well, breaking that fourth wall, what we're looking at, our players already can realize by that conversation is probably resistance or immunity.
Well, I'm threatening it either way, so come at me.
At that point, Lythandr, tell us where you hid. What did you do?
So it's stuck in the door, right?
For the moment.
Yeah, for the moment.
You can
So
see
like,
it busting out more and more of the door as it's going to be coming through.
yeah, no. So like, I want to be, because I don't think Were we already outside or are we inside?
You're still
I thought we were
inside the inn.
Yeah, we're still inside. So I want to be against the wall of the door that it's slowly busting to, like a good distance away from it can fit. So that way when it gets through, I can get behind it easy.
Okay. You move out from your current position using some of the others. You don't have to make a stealth roll. You're able to get behind him at the door, where you should be able to do exactly what you were talking about. Getting into a flanking position, which will give you, we do flanking a little different in this game. If you can get on the opposite side of the creature, you'll get +2 to your rolls, not to your damage, but to your attack rolls. So, and that would give it to both people who are on opposite sides.
Okay.
Perfect. Lythandr moves, and at that point, Yek the Grin is going to use his foot to hammer down on Cable, and also then try to make yet another breakaway with advantage while Cable's wounded. And Cable rolled a nat 1. Yek breaks away.
Oh no.
Dang it.
Most of your attention, everybody here, is focused on the monster. So if you really want to try for that, because it is somewhat in the open, you can make a perception roll. It's a pretty easy one to notice. But if you don't think it's your character, don't roll for it. You know, if you're focused on the monster, trusting Cable, then let it happen. You know, let the scene unfold as you will.
I mean, I was sort of standing next to Cable because I wanted to be there in case this happened, you know.
Yeah, NorthWatch is a little occupied right now, I would say.
So is Lythandr. Lythandr's like practically getting ready to get behind a different monster.
Yeah.
That's it. And Barry takes notice of it as well. So Iounia, you notice this as he breaks away and then starts sprinting back down the hallway where his chair was, and also near the doorway that you were standing near previously. It comes around. I will also use that for the NPC's turn, and use it for Cable, who sprints after him. Yeah, Cable definitely would sprint after him. And then we're gonna go over to. Why does that say Barry anymore? Oh, there we go. Because there he is. Yes, Barry. Barry, who plays his music, gives bardic inspiration this round to NorthWatch.
Oh, okay. We'll see.
Do not question the bardic inspiration.
I mean, I won't.
Roll with it. I'm running it as it's either that or I take him totally out of the game. So,
Right.
We're doing what we can.
Okay.
Iounia, what do you want to do?
I'm gonna.
Greatest danger is the monster right now.
Yeah, but our culprit is getting away.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of want to go chase him down because, like, that was the whole reason that we came here. And
like, if he
by
gets
two
away, what if
points-
we go on death row for it?
So if we leave Cable fighting this guy on his own, then Cable might die, and that makes our situation bad. At the very least, it can be 2 on each creature.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go sprinting after the Yek as well.
Yeah, we've got this.
Okay. You're able to close with him quickly, using your action to dash, but it does require your action because he used his as well. And since the back door was still open in a way that he knew, he could use his shoulder to bust at it and crack open the lever. So you knew he was absolutely familiar with this place as you see him move through it. He goes into the hallway, immediately turning. He doesn't even look. Again, emphasizing that he's familiar with this place. You catch just part of this site as Cable's also in front of you, going after him. You follow behind Cable out into the hallway, running after him. Cable, while dashing, throws a couple things at him using a bonus action, but it's not a proper attack and whatnot, and doesn't slow Yek down. We'll bring it over. Barry's done his turn, giving Bardic Inspiration. Iounia is running after him. Do you have any ideas? Is there anything you can do with a bonus action, or?
I don't think there's anything I can do with a bonus action, especially considering I have Cable between us. Like, I could stop and if I'm managing to, like, close, even if I stay a little bit away, I could try to be, like, I have a whip. I could be trying to, like, get at his feet, maybe, like, they trip him up or something like that, but I have cable between us, which is a problem. I don't have anything really bonus action-y, so no. Just have to chase him and try to tackle him.
You're going to have to make a special attack in there, otherwise you're going to keep running after him and matching your speeds and whatnot, unless you can outpace him and get in front of him. In the meantime, he makes it out to the main area where the stairs are while you're following, and you're now in the open area where you first came down the grand staircase and saw the ticket counters and whatnot in front of you. You're able to quickly take in that there's much bloodshed, and this monster seems to have come from over near the original docks where a train would be coming into. You can make a perception roll to gain more information.
I thought you said I had to make some sort of special attack to try and get ahead of him.
You are,
I'm a
but
little
you're
more
behind
concerned
him.
catching him than I am with perceiving my surroundings.
Yes.
So making the perception roll as a trade-off for something, I'm not doing it because I'm
Nope.
not looking around really. I'm just kind of
You've
trying
used
to
your
catch
action to dash. It's not an action. It's just a perception roll to give you more information.
Okay. 6.
Okay. So other than him in front of you, that's what you're focused on. NorthWatch.
Catch this guy.
Okay, so did I get the impression that I did anything at all with this rapier, or was my attack completely deflected?
It went skidding down the brass until it found a crack between two of the plates and stuck in, but you have no idea if it actually did anything.
Right. So I could keep trying to fight this way, or is there a stool next to me?
There are many stools in here, and you could absolutely grab one.
Okay.
And it's also important to know that rules is written whenever you're playing 5e, you won't know you're damaging a creature till the bloody condition happens, which is halfway down at hit points.
Sure. I just wanted to know if I had any kind of indication that damage was dealt. Okay. The rapier goes clattering to the floor, and NorthWatch is going to arc over and grab the base of a stool and just kind of smash this thing over the head, or try to, anyway.
You pick up the stool and are somewhat surprised at how light it is as it flies through the air, hits it, and the stool fights in your hand, almost as if it didn't want to be used for this. You strike at it, make a, it's an improvised weapon, so go ahead.
Hold on a sec.
Make an attack roll.
The stool felt like it didn't want to be used?
Yep. It literally resisted your attack. It's increasing the AC.
Well, now he's concerned about whether or not this is animated furniture. Feeling that resistance, he would just go ahead and drop the stool as well.
Literally, you strike at it, and then let go of the stool, which immediately, as you let go of it, uprights itself, and then starts skittering across the floor back to the table.
Okay. Fists it is.
It actually doesn't go fully under the table. Once it's within 2.5 feet of the table, it stops. Waiting for somebody to sit down and do it. Welcome to Charm, everywhere where magic is everywhere.
Yeah. Okay. I don't suppose I could then just swing a fist at it then.
Here is what you fight.
Oh. Yeah, that's
I had to find
not
a picture.
Ooh!
that's not a friendly thing.
That's an ugly thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, except this one's got blood all over it.
Well, right. That plus blood. Got it.
There you go. I'm trying to find creative ways that we can use the technology, and if I can't get it out of the computer screen over here, I'm like, well, what can I do? Oh, I can hold it in front of the camera.
Hey, it's good enough for Chris.
That's it.
So yeah, is that my turn then?
Well, it was an improvised attack. You can still roll the attack that you did, because technically you did hit it. It's whether
No,
or
I
not
don't.
you
I don't want to
damage.
make an impact once I feel that this thing is not maybe sentient, but look, NorthWatch and objects that have a will of some kind. There's a thing there. He's not going to hurt it. So, all right, that's it.
So you
He's
still
just-
have movement, and depending on what you want to do, again, you always have. Well, that would have been a two-handed thing, so you wouldn't get it
Yeah.
offhand.
No, he's gonna just try to keep himself juxtaposed in front of any innocents, and that's it. He is a wall now.
Fantastic.
He is a wall.
So you let the thing which comes in on those metal spikes as it goes, along the ground, come flying in quickly and whatnot. Lythandr, as soon as it does, busting through the rest of its door, these massive spikes ripping at the frame and sending shards everywhere, you have an easy position behind it. You could even jump on the back of this thing. It sits about 3.5 feet off the ground, is an easy 10 feet long, and with those snapping jaws, 2.5 feet in the front, you're like, yeah, the back looks like it wouldn't be able to attack you. There's just those two big things on top of it, but they're pointed forward, so you should be pretty safe.
Yeah, let's go for it.
You can
do acrobatics?
As part of your move, yep, make an acrobatics roll to get on its back. Beautiful. In between, it didn't seem to expect you, and you're up on top of its back. So when you make your attack rolls, you will actually be able to use all the roguish skills that you have, and it will have a lower DC.
Alright, then
a lower AC for your attacks.
Going to do a sneak attack. Ooh. And that's all I could do, so...
It's a good start.
It was a good attempt. What matters is, like, he stuck the landing, not so much that he hit it, but you know.
That you definitely did. You not only stuck that, you did freaking fantastic.
Like, Lythandr's so busy trying to hold on, he can't quite figure out how to get his dagger into the machinery.
As you sit there and stab at it, scraping off of the sides and whatnot, you're able to continue holding on to it for the moment. And we'll move it over to the evil enemy who has you on its back right now, and it immediately starts retching, and then it does something you didn't expect. Using those claws, it doesn't reach back to attack you, it grabs its front and rolls with you still on its back. And turns into a crushing. It actually rolls away from NorthWatch, who's on the one side of it, towards the wall, trying to crush you and get you off of its back.
Help!
And it does this in such an unexpected way. It actually gets you off of its back and crushes 2 or 3 of the tables as it rolls over. But make a dexterity roll versus its crushing roll.
Dexterity.
Straight dexterity.
Yep.
Yep. Well, it rolled about the same as you, so you actually get pushed into some of the furniture, and you take bludgeoning damage of 2 points from the furniture and are dislodged off of its back. It completes the roll and uses the remainder of its movement to snake in and go after Gep. It starts skittering by all people, not attacking them, rushing by NorthWatch, giving both Lythandr, since it's leaving you, and NorthWatch, as it passes through your zone, opportunity attacks.
Alright.
Now remember, you can draw as a simple action off NorthWatch since you don't have a weapon. You can't picking up your weapon off the floor, and this is where our change rules is written, actually count as an action.
Yeah. I don't have another weapon, so let's just try to punch it, I guess.
Okay. Absolutely.
Nope. 10 is not going to do it.
No, it does not. You absolutely make contact with it, but you just basically rattle off the sides of it as it's going by. How about you, Lythandr? How you?
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20, absolutely.
Dirty
awesome.
20.
Was that with your, what were you doing?
My dagger.
Dagger, roll some damage.
6.
Oh, and look at that. Your 6, as you slash at it and try to pierce this thing, again, just kind of glances off this brass, and you're like, this thing is built to last. It's kind of like a Warforged. And the thing flies off pretty quickly on these spinning spikes out the hallway. And Iounia, you hear the crash as this thing is trying to now get through the back door, ripping away at it. Again, slowed down as you're all able to continue running. So that was NorthWatch. Lythandr, you're up. Do you want to chase after it? What do you want to do? It's stuck in the...
Yeah, I want to try and get at it again from behind, if at all possible.
Now, it is basically restrained by the doorway, giving your attacks an advantage.
Alright. So I'm gonna go and can I count this as a sneak attack because it's distracted with the door?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Alright.
I know normally it says that you have to have 2 people there and whatnot, but yeah, you're fine.
18.
I think rules is written, it just says anytime you get advantage on an attack.
That is true.
Okay.
That is absolutely true. Yes, I was going for the alternate that if you don't have advantage as long as you have something within 5 feet.
Sure.
So,
18.
dagger, again, you know, still clanging away at the back of this thing. And then NorthWatch did not do well. On its turn, it busts through the doorway, ignoring your ineffectual stabs at its back, and goes down the hallway, barely fitting down this hallway as the gears and metal break off the wall sides, ripping plaster and whatnot, as it goes down towards the main terminal. Now, knowing that, Iounia, you can hear this thing coming down the hallway after you.
Oh, jeez.
Inside, people are now screaming and whatnot and moving in different directions. The young girl who had been so excited to see how you guys were going to capture this one, who had returned to her outpost desk, now that the Sharn Watch were here, responds with a shrill scream. Ah! And the person that she was with, the old man, looks up and goes, oh. And now he goes over and grabs something, a magical thing to contact his superiors, the very thing he refused to use for all of you. Now he's got serious problems.
Yep.
The abomination is not able to get all the way through to Yek because the hallway is actually slowing him down. Yek gets to the stairs, starts climbing. Oh! I was checking for a botch roll. I was like, it's pretty simple, but if he gets a botch. And it was low enough that he actually trips on the stairs, giving Cable a chance to catch up to him, lay hands, get an advantage on it. He gets the grapple, that's not a problem. And you also are now able to catch up Iounia. What do you want to do to assist, help, or attack? What would you like to do?
I'm going to cast Frostbite on him. He has to make a DC 15 con save.
Okay, and if he fails, what happens? And if he passes, what happens?
If he fails, he takes 1 damage, but he has disadvantage on all of his attack rolls for the next turn because he's got covered in frost and really cold and stuff.
And if he passes?
And if he passes, nothing happens.
Beautiful.
It's just a cantrip.
Okay. So you whip out this ray of frost, coating him and some of the stairs in this frosty weather and whatnot. And moments later, you know, Cable is pulling him onto his feet, and Cable, who's on these frosty steps, rolls a 3, slips, and let's see if he ends up letting go of the guy. No, he maintains his grasp, pulling Yek down on top of him, and they both roll down the steps. You do this, and then it's NorthWatch. You're up. What are you doing? Back out the main door, going down the hallway, dancing with Barry, who continues to make the most dramatic music to all of this happening.
So, this thing, I feel like it got 2 move actions before I got to respond to it. Jeez, it just blew right past me. I have a move speed of 35. Could I catch up with it if I went after it?
Well,
or
you can use your action to dash. They had already used their dash actions to get out there, so it is over 35 feet to where they're at. But you could dash out there using your action, and then. I don't feel like
I have another option, so.
Okay.
No.
So by the time you get out there, you're actually encountering the same thing as them, which is that Yek and Cable on their back, and Iounia now right on top of them as well as you catch up.
Oh, I'm going after the creature, not.
Oh, I'm sorry. When you said that, I apologize. Either I misheard. So, all right, you went out the back door, and you catch right up, and you're on top of the creature. Do you want to jump on its back? That could be part of your movement.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to catch up with the creature so I could grab it.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll let you go onto its back, and we'll make an adaptive roll and just call it as a bonus, and you can make a grapple on it. Normally it would not be, but I don't mind stretching the rules. It's good for the cinematics.
Okay. Well, I want to grapple it to stop it from moving. is the desire. So what am I rolling here?
Opposed to athletics.
Okay. Ah, so bad. Bad roll. I hope
As
he rolls.
it feels you on its back, it literally brushes against the side, smacking you against it and knocking you loose.
Yeah.
You'll be right on top of it. You don't take any damage from the dislodging. It just knocked you loose.
You gotta roll higher than a 5 if you want to grab a giant centipede.
Lythandr, how about you?
All right.
You were on top of it, and you were right next to it when NorthWatch came up and jumped past you, and he tried getting on its back too.
I'm going to be going, hopefully, back onto its back to keep attacking it.
Okay.
Make an acrobatics to see if I get on.
11. Not
This
ideal.
time, as it's getting itself halfway through the doorway, it's less agile, and you're able to grab onto it. Lythandr.
All right.
Of course,
And let's attack it.
Woo, it's a good attack roll.
Yeah, you know?
attack roll. Okay, you stab in, going, as you can, is between the plates, and you're scuffing it all up. But trying to find as you get in, wedging in between it, as this thing moves up and down, its varied forms. You continue to try to wedge in between.
Are there
the
like
plates.
any screws?
There are, if you look at it.
Cool. I'm
Sides
gonna
and whatnot.
just letting you know for my future turn. I'm gonna start trying to use my dagger to unscrew things.
There you go. We can absolutely try something like that. There's the mechanical arms that are ripping at the door, the claws, as well as this.
Really intense mechanical bull session.
You know?
The enemy
Hard mode.
rips through the door, taking you with it on top of it, and then moves the extra 20 feet and catches up to where its master, Yek, is now down. Havel on his back, Yek on top, and Iounia hears this coming. It closes with the back, and since it's not that much further, it's able to make its double attack on Iounia. What's your AC, Iounia?
17.
Oh my. Oh my. So the first nat 20 definitely hits you, but then you roll out of the way afterwards.
Whew.
And we're just going to go with the nice and simple and do 10 points of damage to you. As it rips down with this multi. Please don't be down.
No, I'm not down.
Okay.
Ouch.
Whew.
We don't have a healer in our group, so ouch.
Yes, it is. These are going to be ouch. Ouchie kabibbles. It ends its turn having now attacked you from the rear, used up its movement. Barry comes out the front doors that were smashed through, using his, and he actually says, I'm going to have to attack here. So Barry rushes in, and I believe Barry has a staff, doesn't he? I'm trying to remember. Anybody remember what Barry has?
We've never seen him fight, so.
I think he has a staff.
Let's take a look at Barry's character sheet and see what weapons he has.
His character
Oh,
sheet.
Barry, Vicious Mockery's in. Never mind. He has the Vicious Mockery.
Psychic damage.
So
Get
we're
in that
gonna-
creature's head.
Oh no, is it psychic?
Vicious
is
Mockery
psychic.
is psychic damage.
So if it resembles a Warforged enough, it will still do damage, but if it's sufficiently different, as in not sentient, then it's probably immune to it.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Barry insults it, tells it its mother was not a snake, but actually an elephant, and it seems
Ooh.
totally unaffected by Barry's insults.
Okay.
That'll take care of Barry. That's the enemy. Cable is trying to get to his feet, but he can't do it without releasing Yak. So they're going to remain prone this round. NorthWatch, you're up. Or Iounia, sorry. Iounia.
Alright. I am... Since Cable seems to have this guy grappled for now, I'm going to Witch Bolt the giant caterpillar thingy-mabobber.
Which bolt away?
Does a 25 hit it?
It does.
Alright, so this is turn 1. It takes 12 damage, max damage.
Wow.
Lightning damage.
Roll. You do the 12, and I'm not even going to have you roll. It's double damage with the lightning damage. Your lightning cascades over this thing, and as you do so, you see some of the gears and whatnot turn backwards and flip around as if it's incredibly effective. Lythandr, who's on top of this thing when you do it, takes half the damage of your regular roll, because Lythandr's not extra, damaged by it, so Lythandr, you take 6 damage.
Lythandr looks bloodied. Very bloodied.
Turn 1.
Oh no. But you found something incredibly effective against this.
The lightning arc maintains between Iounia and this creature because next round it's going to be taking another 1d12 damage.
Oh no!
Yeah, it's a concentration.
For a minute, it's
Right, I
1d12.
forgot.
Up to a minute.
Bravo! Bravo,
I just need to
Iounia!
hit it.
Which bolt is good stuff. I like that one.
So glad I took Witch Bolt. And so glad I hit.
You know, the funny thing is, I had a
There's
character with
my
Witch Bolt one time, and I couldn't hit anything with it. I've gotten so frustrated. So, NorthWatch, you're up.
Okay. Is this thing still within grabbing
Oh,
distance?
yeah.
Can I?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you going to grab the electrified thing, or are you...
Yeah.
You can
Yes.
wait till it's not electrified.
I mean, the arc maintains, so...
Oh,
I don't have
that's
to roll
true.
an
Take a
attack.
plot point, Iounia. Yeah, if you grab this thing, it's going to be... You realize that the metal conductors, for whatever reason, the magic of this creature and the electricity, there's just something happening. It's sending it over all the plates
Mm-hmm.
and whatnot. It is affecting
Yeah.
it. You can tell that by the way it's
Mhm.
acting. But, you
But
also
does it
see
look
by
like it's
Lythandr
still-
crying.
Does it look like it's still on a warpath though? Does it look like it's stopping?
It's definitely being stopped. It doesn't look like it's stopping. It seems to be trying to chomp at Cable and do something, but this Witch Bolt is affecting it in such a way it's malfunctioning.
Yeah.
Of
So-
course, so is Lythandr at this point on its back.
Help Cable!
Lythandr is malfunctioning off to the side.
Iounia shout, help Cable! I seem to have this thing electrified.
Despite the despite that, NorthWatch is relatively confident that he can find Yak again since Yak is so close. He's actually just going to, despite the damage, he's going to flying tackle the side of this thing's head and just try to wrestle it down so it can't hurt Cable. So we're gonna go with another grapple check.
Great, you go in, you grapple it.
Oh, with a 19! Yes! That's much better.
Beautiful, beautiful. I'm gonna give it disadvantage on the roll since it's suffering the lightning damage. And thank gosh for the disadvantage, otherwise it would have been, But as it
Nice.
moves at its head, it literally can't get away, and you have it from moving away. Because that's the
Mhm.
grapple doesn't restrain it, it just prevents movement.
Mhm.
Whatnot. You have a solid lock on this creature. It hasn't been able to break it. You take from the lightning damage 1 damage.
Oh no!
It could have been worse, but it got a 1. So
I'm bloodied.
because you're only up at the front. You're bloodied
I'm
too.
not bloodied.
Oh, no.
I'm not bloodied. No.
I was about to say, wow.
Far
dude.
from it.
I didn't realize how much point. I don't track all yours. I guess everybody online though can see your hit points right now. We'll eventually have to get some of those ones up on the screen. That would be
Maybe.
fun.
I'm almost bloodied.
I like that. That's a neat idea. I'm gonna have to remember that. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely do that. Yeah, I like that. I'm just thinking about how I can.
We'll talk
actually
about it
put
later.
the
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah. Totally interrupting the flow there.
I think we're back to
You have it
Lythandr.
grappled, and you have it on hand. And Lythandr, you're on its back, and you're laying there. And at the start of your turn, because you're laying on its back, you take another 4 damage.
Oh dear.
And Lythandr is down.
Lythandr rolls off, unconscious, to the ground.
We don't have a healer!
As far as you know.
Unfortunately, that takes Lythandr's turn out, leaving the evil enemy who is hesitating. And Yak is on his back, growling with his, and he's like, "Let me go! I can't stay here, you don't understand! I won't be taken alive! And he's gonna make his roll to try and break away.
Miss it, miss it, miss it, miss it, miss it, miss it, miss it.
And Cable's gotta oppose it, and Cable continues to keep him down. Even though he's,
Go,
between the
Cable.
shackles on his hand, he hasn't been able to break loose. He can't seem to get the right momentum. I'm gonna give it a chance to break your witch bolt, or at least get a movement. Never mind. It does not break your witch bolt, but it does move forward enough to make its attack, and it tries using both its claws and its bite against Cable on the ground.
If I have it grappled, does it need to break my grapple in order to move?
It was already on top of them. It was literally just, it doesn't have to actually move its
Oh, okay.
but it can attack anybody within the 5-foot radius. Like it can
Okay.
turn and attack you. And
Understood.
It's not moving any distance. It's on top of them.
Okay.
So it's like just biting straight down. It's able to effectively do that.
Okay.
Its head goes down, makes the attack against poor Cable with its claws as well. And the claw gets in, rips at Cable's arm, pulls one arm away, breaking one of his arms, but he still has him not restrained. He breaks the restraint, but now he still has a grapple on Yek, so Yek's movement is still 0, but he takes damage.
I thought you meant like he actually pulled the arm away.
No, not off. Just away from the, yeah.
I was like, that is grim.
Yeah, no, Cable is not dismembered yet.
Right, not yet.
Barry, instead of using Vicious Mockery, what would be a good thing for a level 1 bard to use?
He's a wizard.
Go give
Is
the
he a
help
wizard?
action.
That's right,
Yeah,
he
he's-
is a wizard, you're right.
Yeah.
Go give the help action to Cable.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
forgetting because all these characters are so new.
Continue to like grapple.
He doesn't have his wand. He didn't steal any wands yet. Barry's gonna have to. I don't know if Barry would go full in and just make an attack. Barry's our humorous guy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know him well enough. Barry's gonna move in. Hey, look, Zig's here. Woohoo! Barry's gonna move in and go to help Lythandr. And Barry's gonna use the healing potion that he had stashed away for himself on you. So it serves Alex right for not being here. Barry's gonna use his healing potion, giving you an automatic 8 hit points. I'm not rolling for it. You're getting max hit points. And he uses this on a round, bringing you up and about.
Well, I was just pulling everyone's legs, you see, saying he died or was unconscious.
There you go. Which brings it down to Ionia's turn, and you can continue to blast this thing if
I
you
am
want.
maintaining my witch bolt for another 1d12 damage. Only 2 that time, but it's doubled.
It is, and it does 4 damage to it. And with that, as this thing is biting and chomping, it freezes, rolls over, dead. And as it rolls right towards Lythandr where he fell. And
God!
Lythandr, who is just coming around, looks up as this thing rolls over on top of him.
Dexterity save?
He actually does against the roll. See if you can roll out of the way quick enough.
Oh.
Lythandr's
Lythandr's like, I'm
rolls
getting my
away.
second win, that's it!
No, it's like, oh hell no!
Barry rolled a 2.
This is not how I
Barry
die.
was so like, wow, you're rolling away as the thing just rolls on top of Barry. The wizard, squishing the wizard to the ground, and the wizard's on his back. This thing on top, like, oh, help me! Get this
No,
thing off
Barry,
of
I'm
me!
coming, don't worry!
Help
Yak
me!
is screaming. He's like, let me go, let me go! And Cable starts wrestling with him to get his mouth, shut. Now that the frost has gone away, he's able to get to his feet, grabs him around the mouth again. And now he's like, we're gonna have none of this. Other guards have been summoned by the amount of commotion and whatnot. Now they've got help. As what Cable planned previously in the last session actually comes to be. With other guards helping out, they once again fully subdue Yak. And Yak, under the prison guard of the Green Gallery is taken off to the local Sharon watch house.
Cool. Well,
Iounia,
Cable
Slayer
looks at you and
of
says,
centipedes.
I didn't see that coming. He looks over at the thing, he's like, what is this? I've never seen anything like this before.
NorthWatch is going to try to move it off of Barry.
That's when Cable realizes for the first time that somebody's trapped underneath it.
Right. And while doing so, while lifting enough for Barry to get free, NorthWatch will explain it's a Carnathi automation. It's something they used during the war.
He goes, have you seen these before? So somebody's importing more war items.
A few times, but not for a long time.
Cable seems unfamiliar with many of the monstrosities that have been used out in the war. As he looks at this thing, trying to determine what to do with it and how to use it, he keeps others at bay from around it and tells the constables who have come, the other watch commanders and whatnot, to bring people to transport it, because if Carnath has created it, he wants some Carnathan individuals from the House Carnath to take a look at it, identify it, and find out how Yek got a hold of it.
Does anybody look hurt?
As now you start looking around, you notice why there was all the screaming, and you can follow the trail of blood from the front doors of the inn that have been smashed open back toward the docks, where this thing has busted out of a crate that was waiting to be put onto a train, presumably with Yak, coming at its master's call when you first attacked him in the inn, and fighting not only outside the crate but through anybody that stood in its path as it rushed to aid him, injuring numerous individuals along the way, including a group of small children that were waiting on the docks, if you remember.
Okay. Well, I mean, NorthWatch is actually checking on the party first. He wants to see if anybody in the party is injured.
Well, you got Lythandr, who's up on his feet now, and Iounia. Barry looks okay.
Iounia doesn't look injured.
Okay.
Lythandr is
Not
now
bloody.
like checking over this metal body and seeing like this is just brass. This is like junk metal. There's nothing good on here to steal.
It actually looks like it would be incredibly valuable as an item, and other than the fact that Ionia's spell seems to have brought steam bushing out of the thing and the limbs in different angles, if it could be repaired itself, it would be very valuable. Although Cavil has already said that he sent for some people to collect it. And
There's no, like,
Lythandr does not look
volunteers.
up to snuff. So in answer to your question, NorthWatch, Lythandr looks damaged.
Okay. Looking between his friends and looking towards the injured, he'll just ask, "Are you two all right?"
Okie dokie, artichoke.
All right, enough.
Right. I'll go check on the wounded if that's okay.
Go for it, man. I'll just go check at the bar for anything wounded, you know.
Sure.
Lythandr goes back in the back way to the bar, finding that the bartender himself, the Warforged that is there, is literally just trying to clean up all the debris on the floor. One of the things that you notice immediately, Lythandr, is that some of the items that were smashed when it rolled over towards you, even in their broken condition, have moved back into the position that they were before, the chairs and the tables and whatnot. Many of the people are terrified, talking about what's going on. Others are complaining that the war hasn't really ended, that it seems like it's just moved within the city itself, and it was safer back when the wall was still in place and individuals who didn't belong here were kept locked up. Sharn is part of the Brelish Empire. None of you, or actually, I don't know Lythandr's background enough. I know Iounia is not from the Brelish Empire. What is NorthWatch's background? Which empire were you a part of? Which kingdom?
Oh, he was he watched the northern forests of Aundare.
Ah,
He's
okay.
Aundarian, which is why he has a outdated, not quite so fashionable green Aundarian cloak.
Perfect. Lythandr, did you remember which nation you were technically a part of, or does nobody know? Is that something that you're like, I'm not part of any nation. I'm
Not
just a citizen.
really. Kind
like-
in no man's land.
Lythandr's like, I'm part of whatever nation I'm a part of. Oh, am I Umbrella? Yes, I'm Brelish. Am I?
I'm whatever I need to be in a given situation.
Yeah.
There you go. As long as they
He
don't
is
ask for
fluent in
papers.
BS.
He's like, how quickly can I imitate the accent of where I'm at?
How much
But yeah.
traveling between nations would you have been able to do though during the war several years ago? Like,
Lythandr had his ways.
Travel is possible during the war. I mean,
You have
Yeah, there
Barry
was-
out, and he thanks you very much. And yes, NorthWatch is right on the money. Yeah, travel still happened and whatnot. What was interesting about the travel is that the railways between the empires were not targeted, officially avoided by most empires. And there was great speculation about whether that was because of the houses that controlled them, or whether it was an understanding between the empires, or whether it was the idea that sooner or later the Empire of Galifar, which these nations had broken into, could be reassembled. So some saw it as a sign of hope, others saw it as a sign of corruption of the houses. You can take from it what you will, but they were not directly targeted, sometimes damaged, but not directly by most empires.
So NorthWatch has very limited healing capability, but he is going to check and see if there's any gravely wounded that he can tend to from the path of, I guess, blood and wreckage that this thing wrought trying to get to Yak.
You meet numerous individuals along the way, just as I described, including the children. You can prioritize any one of them that you would like, or you may go about it differently. It's up to you. What would you like?
Just for the less injured, medicine checks, and for those that are not doing well, he's got 2 cure wounds spells that he can use. So.
Okay.
And Lythandr has a hand to feel at pockets for those who are unconscious.
Do it up, Lythandr. That is so you. I love it. You are a play of the character.
Sleight of hand.
Yes.
Like, you don't want other people to know that you're taking money from the unconscious.
I'm going to let you make 2 more checks as well. And this will be
Okay.
basically you taking the time on all these bodies. Yeah. So, NorthWatch, you're able to help not only the children with basic things, helping to use their own clothes and whatnot to tie off certain wounds, to bandage them. Do you have any actual medicine kits with you?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't tend to need to heal people a whole lot, so it's not something he has on his person.
Well, because you did well with your
I haven't made a roll yet.
Oh, I was looking over at your last athletics roll. That's why.
Yeah,
Good roll.
I can make her
Give me-
medicine
Yeah,
check.
give me 3 medicine rolls.
Okay. Oh,
Oh no!
You fix it by putting your finger in the wound, right? Plug it up.
no. For that one,
And
I
then
mean,
there's
he's
the
not
screaming.
good at medicine. He's just doing his best. I'm going to do it. I'm going to spend 5 plot points on that one to bring it up to a 10.
Okay.
Just because I don't want to do that badly. I'll just do a couple more. Oh.
No.
I'll spend my remaining 4 plot points to
Make
bring
all
that
those a
up
10?
to a 10 as well.
Okay. You roll for the ball, and you actually do quite a bit using their own clothes and whatnot and their own padding to staunch the wound until other individuals can show up. And while you all spend this time, what are you doing, Iounia?
I'm going back to the bar. I'm not really a competent healer of any kind.
I don't particularly want to chill out near the dead mechanical centipede and stuff. Though I do want to see if I can like pry off some like small part of the centipede to take as like a trophy kind of thing. But there's just like the little tip at the end of one of its legs, or just something small.
Oh, like a cog.
A cog, something.
Make a make a straight strength roll. It wouldn't be athletics.
12.
Okay. Because you've ended up frying it, you end up pulling off one of what you would consider to probably be its eyeballs. Right up. Where's my finger? I can't find my finger on this. Up there.
It's a little tricky, yeah.
It is. When you're going the other way, it's like, wow.
Yeah, it's not a mirror.
You know what? I should do that like reverse thing. Then I would actually be able to figure out what I was doing. But then I could never actually hold up paper for you to read.
Right.
So you actually pull off one of its eyeballs that had partially fried when the witch bolt had gone off. That's the easiest thing, and you quickly pocket it away. Cavil doesn't seem to mind that you did that at all. But now there's other individuals around looking at it, packing things up. NorthWatch, you are able to help 2 children and quite a few adults along the way. Nobody appears worse for the wear of having you help them, and most appear better. And the children, 2 of them, while some were afraid of you, 2 of them actually thank you for what you've done for them. Yeah.
He doesn't really know how to respond to that, so he'll just nod.
Lythandr, at the end of it, you have a small pouch with some items in it, which I can send you privately or you can look at later upon examination. And we're back to where Cavil is once again thanking you. He goes, I don't know if you're going to be able to drink in the bar now. Of course, who was the one that went back into the bar? Was that Lythandr?
No, it was Iounia.
That's all I'm doing. Lythandr kind of changed to start pickpocketing.
Yeah, Lythandr had moved off helping individuals, being of very little help. Here, look, put your hand here and whatnot, as well as checking things out.
Lythandr was very helpful. He helped himself to their stuff.
Monster.
Perfect. Iounia, back in the bar, the the pouch of coins is still there on the countertop. The bartender has not taken it. You wish to use it, order drinks for everybody here to make their life better, or what?
I mean, isn't that what the pouch of coins was put down for?
It was put down for your party to have drinks, yes.
Oh, yeah, I'll take and order drinks for everybody that's in there. That's what it was designated for.
Okay. So you order drinks trying to help them, and it actually calms the atmosphere very quickly, and individuals come to you asking what it was, and they saw you run after it and what happened, and somebody saw you casting spells, and much to Barry's chagrin, they ask, are you a wizard and whatnot? And Barry's like, that's me! I'm the wizard! And they're like, we thought you were the pancake underneath it. Somebody's like, aren't you the singing doormat? And then, it's like, and very quickly you start realizing they're making as much fun of poor Barry as anything else. But you were so successful, they're just like delighted in everything that you did.
I'm happy to tell them anything that I know about the centipede. Maybe embellish a couple things if I don't happen to know an answer to something or not. It was a giant mechanical centipede, a machine of war
That I was able to bring down.
Make a performance check.
17.
You come up with these fantastic tales as you're starting to embellish on certain things, and Barry gets right in on it. He's like, oh, but you didn't see what I saw from out there. And every time Barry tries doing this, you outdo him even more. You're like, well, from my angle, being close to it, let me tell you about this. And he goes, well, I saw all this from the back, and I saw it doing this. You're like, well, let me show you what exactly popped off when it saw me, and it started shaking to pieces. You outperform him each time about this tale, much to Barry's chagrin, until the wizard actually becomes frustrated and is like, I want a drink, and he ends up getting a hard drink over at the corner. Even though, and then he switches roles. He actually starts trying to help your story, taking a supporting role and whatnot.
I'm perfectly willing to let him do this and be a part of this and work with him. I don't want to just, like, squash my teammate. He already got squashed today.
Oh, it's true.
You guys spend the time, by the time NorthWatch and the others are done, NorthWatch, you've seen other Warforged that are working for the Sharn, except they seem to be more servants, like the individual that was sweeping the massive juggernaut comes over and starts cleaning up as individuals carry off the creation. Yek is now gone as well, and Cable, since Lythandr and Iounia aren't around, reminds you that he'll be sending word. Actually, he's not going to send word because he doesn't know exactly where you're staying yet. But he tells you where he wants you to report to because they're going to want to see you tomorrow to take a full report on everything about Yek. But for tonight, it's your time on your own. How would you like to spend it? Or are there any parting comments for Cable, NorthWatch?
Something I forgot to ask about. If I remember correctly, the murder weapon was a very peculiar. It was a strange. It was like a 4-sectioned blade. If I remember right.
It is a blade in the shape of a plus. So if you were looking down,
Right.
it would be like one dagger like this and the other dagger like this.
It's like those bayonets that got outlawed.
You got it, buddy.
Yeah.
I didn't know if I tried describing those to somebody else, people would be like, "Huh? That's it."
Yeah. They history lesson. They early on they banned those bayonets because the wounds that they make were
Don't
not
close.
healable,
Yep.
and they were deemed inhumane, for war. But hey, whatever.
Since that fits very much with NorthWatch, you can take a plus. NorthWatch actually knew that, not just the player Seth. And NorthWatch is able to describe that to you, saying that some nations consider these inhumane. He doesn't know if they were ever outlawed, but some considered it inhumane, and gives you that history lesson. Which also tells you something about the fact why Yek would use it.
I consider that the Karnathi would probably use that type of weapon. That seems like a Karnathi thing to do.
Well, you definitely know some Warforged that were created with weapons like that.
For sure. So, my question was, did we spot that on Yak during this fight? Did he have that weapon on him?
You did not physically search him. So
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to. Okay.
Might be
Got
worth
it.
talking to Cable about, though.
Yeah, he will bring that up. He'll tell Cable that the wound that the person that Yak murdered was very unique, and that if it was in fact Yak, then the weapon should be on his person. He'll describe the wound.
Before Caville leaves, since Yek is already gone and whatnot, he goes, I didn't feel any weapons on him when I was tying him up, but we'll have to take a look and find out about that. So,
He seemed very crafty. He might have hidden it somewhere. It's hard to say. But that's all, really. He's just concerned about actually finding out if this Yak individual was the correct person. We strongly suspect so, but who knows?
everything seems to point in that direction, and Caville says, well, you all said that you saw him on the bridge, and that's what I was going to have you reporting tomorrow.
Mhm.
That is who we were supposed to have tracked down, the individual that you saw, and this is him, isn't it?
I
I've
believe
been
so.
with you the whole time.
Strongly, I believe
If
so.
not, my sergeant will actually have you. If you can't report that this is an individual, then we need to keep looking. If you're not certain of it.
That's fine. The only thing I'm certain of is our innocence.
That won't make any difference to iMod, he reminds you. Perhaps I should be talking to, and this is the first time you wonder, he goes, perhaps I should be talking to one of the others. And you're not sure if he's saying that because you're a Warforged, or whether he just wants to talk to the group.
Yeah, it doesn't much matter. NorthWatch just tilts his head to the side and says, well, they are available.
Caville, because of what you've suggested, Caville comes back in to look, and he doesn't see Lythandr yet, but he sees Iounia. Lythandr's still out doing his thing. Comes in and he goes, Barry, Iounia. He goes, is that the individual that committed the crime? The murder?
Yeah. pretty sure.
Barry affirms that. He's like, yeah, he had a grin and had a blade and he jumped off. He goes, I still want to know how he flew. He goes, I'm not sure whether or not he had magic or whether he was using a magic item. Did you happen to find any magic items on him? And that's when Cable repeats the same thing. He goes, no, I didn't find any items on him. And in fact, NorthWatch, your Warforged friend, happened to say that he had a special blade, the same one that you described to my sergeant earlier, but we didn't find that on him.
I mean, we tracked down the person that we saw on the bridge there for sure, based on the traits that we were able to catch of him before he left. Potentially, if he doesn't have those items on him, they might have been stored at his house before he left, which means they might be at the other house that we stopped by previously. We could certainly potentially ask to look through their stuff to see if we can verify that. The only way I could imagine that he's not the murderer is if in some way he also happened to have stumbled across the body and we stumbled on him stumbling across the body. But that just seems really kind of convoluted and like a lot of unusual series of events. You know, Occam's razor, simplest thing is probably the right solution, right?
As he listens to you, he goes, that does seem rather convoluted. He goes, although if we had the weapon, that would make much more sense. He goes, I think your Warforged friend might be onto something. He goes, I don't think without the weapon, all we have is that he took on some feral glances and then he resisted when we were going to arrest him. It was...
Yep. He also seems responsible for unleashing this weapon of war.
That alone will convict him of crimes against the city. However, my goal is actually to get you, correct, exonerated. Right.
He shouted something about there being a misunderstanding or some sort of mistake. Potentially he has, or that we don't understand. I don't remember exactly what he shouted there at the end when he was getting taken away, but maybe upon questioning him, we could find out what it is.
You don't actually have to roll for it. You were close enough to hear what he was shouting. And what he was shouting was things about releasing me. You don't understand. I won't be taken alive. He was shouting quite a bit as he tried to get away.
Seems pretty standard. I don't think there's a lot of clues there, unfortunately.
I mean, it sounds like maybe there's like somebody on the inside that he knows of, that he knows if he gets caught will do something to him. Saying he doesn't want to be taken alive.
Is that something that happens?
Sometimes.
Oh. We also still haven't found out what it was that was taken from the courier, though. I mean, that sounds like it would be something of kind of pertinent information.
That's true.
This wasn't just a chance crime. I mean, you don't happen to kill a courier and the stuff in the courier's bag happen to disappear. Usually those things all line up.
Take a plot point for that?
I have 2 plot points now.
It sounds like
and,
it's in our best...
take a plot point for doing the, talking about the dagger, tying that in there.
All right. I have 1 plot point again.
But as you can see, they're always useful, having plot points, adjusting the story.
For healing children. Yeah, by the way, did I have to use any of my spell slots at all? Or was I able to heal people, or was I able to just use medicine?
I just had you using medicine. You didn't state that you were using your heal slot, so I wouldn't try to do that.
Gotcha.
But I will keep that in mind that you're open to that if ever you're saying something that we can adapt and adjust. That would be storytelling. I'll keep that in mind. Thank you for that.
So yeah, thinking about what was being said, NorthWatch will say, so it sounds like we might need to see the blue Ost.
Lythandr, by now you're back in the room.
Mm-hmm.
We might need to go see the blue Ost to see if they might have the dagger. And challenging as it might be, we might need to go see Shala as well to see if perhaps her courier had this ticket. It could be that the ticket was what was stolen. She might have more information than she let on.
She might. I say we start with the blue Ost.
the easier person to contact. I agree.
Yes.
I also totally agree. I know exactly what we're talking about. I didn't just walk in.
Yep.
Been here the whole time.
Blue Oss it is.
Yak looks and he's like, but I haven't finished my drink. Fine.
Our lives are on the line.
Iounia downs the rest of her drink.
Well, since he didn't need to use any of his spells, he'll actually stop Iounia and say, I'm sorry I didn't stop it in time. And he'll touch her and give her a cure wounds to help give her some of those hit points back.
Ooh, how many hit points?
We'll find out together. Or we won't. Something is profoundly broken.
Yeah, roll 20 is really acting strange.
Roll 20? What are you
My
doing?
whole roll 20 froze up earlier, and I had to like reload everything and come back into the game and stuff.
Craziness.
Yeah, and
okay, well, how about
I
this?
had to reload before the session. I was like, it took up a lot of the time.
Whoa! Have 9 hit points back.
Ooh, I'm like 1 point shy of full.
There you
Now,
go.
don't
So
forget,
yeah,
you guys have not slept because you only got into Sharn, and then all this started happening. You've been going your entire night. So yeah, it's bright and early in the morning, but you guys are working without sleep, which technically
Sleep is for the weak.
puts you at a level of exhaustion because you've gone a full
Sure.
day without rest.
yeah.
So that's disadvantage on your checks after this point.
Oof. Well, either way,
After this point.
his stone, metal, and wood hand glows a little warmly and just reseals some wounds.
Very much. That's a
You know.
really useful trick.
Nature has bestowed me with certain gifts.
Well, how would
I
you
thought
like
you
to-
were forged. Well,
Yes.
were you forged by nature?
No. But I spent much time with it.
Ah. During the war.
Yes.
I see.
How exactly did it bestow you with gifts? Do you know?
I don't fully understand now.
Is nature dwelling inside of you?
I think he just has like some saps that help rejuvenate people.
There's like a sapling living inside of him?
Yeah,
I
I think
mean-
so.
It'll look down at his his body and like
There is a lot of wood there.
I am comprised
Most things are
of many
explainable
things that
through natural events.
Barry comes
Lythandr-
over to check it out as well, and he goes, as if knowing, he goes, definitely Carnathian crafting. He goes, good wizardry made you.
Thought it was nature.
I mean,
I don't
not
disagree.
really wizarding so much as science made him.
He goes,
The magic of the universe around us. Very
your lines
powerful.
move. Can't. He goes, look, what science do you see here?
I'm seeing well-built machinery and twigs.
As you continue to discuss the origins of NorthWatch and his ability to be science or something else, the time ticks on and you make your way towards Blue Ost. It takes a little bit, and you know that you've made so many people incredibly happy because you left the inn having had Iounia taken her last drink, and nobody decided to pick up any of the cash at the end.
Oh, I spent it on drinks for everybody that was in the facility.
Oh, so the bartender just kept going and buying more and more and more while you drank
People
yours.
walk in, at some point poked my head out there, if someone was walking by, hey you want a drink? That's what the money was given for.
There you go. So the bartender, following that order, like I said, which is why I said you made many people happy, because none of you decided to pick it up, and the bartender just keeps using it according to the last thing that he was told. Buying drinks for everybody.
Okay.
Let's try this. Boom. There we go. There, we get some bigger pictures. We don't need the dice rolls at the moment. You make your way up through the city, back towards the Dura end of town. Down towards the cliffs. Not exactly the nice part of town. Where you come to the house of Blue Ost. The same door remaining closed. It doesn't take long to know that you're going to have to bang on it and get somebody's attention.
Start knocking.
The familiar
Right,
eyes.
this
answer
was
the door.
Ionia's duty last time. I remember now.
I I'm a professional door knocker.
It's answered quickly enough by the same Goliath that you met last time.
Greetings. Can we talk with you again?
He opens the door and comes out, this time not challenging you, but comes out to meet you, closing the door behind him. Were you able to kill the Master's enemy? Did you bring back news of his demise already?
Kill? No. We were able to get him trapped and apprehend him. We killed a giant war machine centipede thing that worked for him. But we were wondering if we might look through some of his belongings for the murder weapon that was used. We don't need to take any of his stuff from you guys. We just want to try and help convict him, kind of put that final nail in the coffin.
While she's saying this, NorthWatch will actually like reach for some of the hair that he collected from Yak and present it, saying, "I'm not sure if this will be sufficient, but I did take some of his hair."
He says, "Let me ask the Master, Blue Ost, if you will see him." He goes back inside, and moments later, he opens the door and invites you inside.
Going in.
Okay.
Coming back inside, you're led through some tight areas, and as I said previously, this is actually built into the cliffside. And you can tell that this isn't an establishment that was built for grandeur or anything else. Yet as you pass by some rooms, individuals inside them look out, close the door. You hear numerous conversations going on. The very presence of the room smells of rich smokes, and you hear music playing from some of the rooms. You're led back to another room that is massively overly done. Rugs upon rugs, wall tapestries, paintings, none of which match, but all of which individually would be signs of wealth. The heavyset man sits in a big chair and he's smoking a cigar, and next to him is a decanter filled with some alcoholic beverage and some glasses. He welcomes you in and he says, "Come in, come in. I understand that you've brought me a gift."
As much as this can be considered a gift, I suppose.
Hey, one man's junk is another man's treasure.
He goes, "What have you brought me?" And Barry immediately says, "I've brought you a song," and starts to play on his lute once more. The man does not look pleased with Barry's shenanigans, and he's like, you quickly see him turning, he goes, "My manservant said that you had brought me a gift." And the Goliath looks and points at the Warforged and says, "He brought fur. Fur from Yak."
And with that, NorthWatch will bow and very carefully and cautiously approach and present from within his cloak the clump of fur, matted hair from Yak.
Yak reaches out with these figures, handing over the fur, and the man actually seems much more mollified by NorthWatch's approach. Taking it, and he goes, "So this is him? Where's his head? Tell me how he died."
His head is currently still attached to his body, but if I understand correctly, his body is occupying a prison run by the Watch.
Prisoner of the Watch, eh?
Indeed.
Sniffs the fur once more and goes, "That's worth something. What would you have of me? How can I return this favor that you've given me?"
NorthWatch will gesture over at Iounia.
We'd like to look through all of the X stuff that you guys retrieved from his place.
He goes, "Of course." He goes, "We only took it to make sure that we could track him down." Looks over and he goes, "You!" And he looks at the Goliath. The Goliath responds, "Yes?" He goes, "Bring in the Yak's trash."
We believe later, it might be useful in proving that he's guilty of his crimes.
He goes, "You can use it for whatever you want. He's gonna pay for my daughter's death. Scum." As he does so, the Goliath returns, and you can see the familiar drag marks coming across the floor and you realize that the drag marks that you had seen coming out from the place, the shack that Yek lived in, were made by this massive trunk. The trunk itself is pretty beat up, and that's actually why part of the metal is dragging against the floor and whatnot. The Blue Ost tells the Goliath that he's an oaf and whatnot, and that he should carry things, and the Goliath goes, "But boss, it's heavy." Moments later, they open it up, and you're able to start rummaging through the various items, most of which appear like the trash that Blue Ost called it. As you go through the various items, though, you find 2 daggers, neither of which resemble what it is that you are looking for. Although you find, interestingly enough, a receipt for a weaponsmith here in Sharn that has, and it is custom, and has a description of exactly what you're looking for. A new dagger made in the shape, and it has all these specifics right on it.
Take
Well,
the
that's
receipt.
useful.
May we have this?
He goes, "Take whatever you want." He goes, "What is it anyway?" And as you look at it, it's Sherpest Steel is the name of the establishment. The Sherpest. And it has a
Sherpest?
location. Yep. Sharpest.
Sharpest. Okay, I thought you said Sherpest.
Well, that's the way he's spelling it, but as you start to say it out loud, somebody else is like, "Oh, Sharpest." We get that.
Ha, that's funny.
Sharpest Steel.
I get it.
He goes, "Yeah. His name is Sherpest. I don't know why everybody says Sharpest. He ain't that sharp of an individual. He's an orc."
Ooh!
And the Goliath
Well,
looks
laid
over
it
and
on
goes,
thick.
"Boss, he's a half-orc." He goes, "Once you have orc in your blood, no use." And you get the total sensation that this guy not only hates Yak, but hates most people who are of different races. Meaning, you have no idea what he thinks of all of you, or what he thinks of other nations. Maybe you don't want to ask, but either way, you've done a favor right now, and he seems somewhat amenable to you.
It's a lonely little human.
I was gonna say, NorthWatch always just kind of expects the worst and just deals with it.
Thank you very much, sir. She gives a polite bow to him. Don't believe there's anything else that we needed. Looking at the rest of the group just to kind of confirm.
Yeah.
No, I'm fine.
The Blue Oss says, "I want you to know, I appreciate it again." Now, so saying, at the same time, you guys were looking for anything that would stand out, like, earlier Iounia had mentioned the courier documents, and had they been here, I would have given that to you naturally, because it was something your characters mentioned. But you don't see anything that resembles the courier. You didn't see the actual dagger itself, but you did find this, that at least tells you where it was made. Presumably by this receipt.
Okay, so I take it that we're allowed to just leave this place.
We'll take our leave now.
Blue Oss thanks you. Yeah, in fact, more than that, Blue Oss actually says, "I always repay my debts." That seems rather insignificant. I tell you what. And he pulls off a ring, pulls it off his finger, and says, he goes, "This is a trinket. You take this. You know that I appreciate what you've done." He hands it out.
Go take the ring. Thank you.
Iounia, the human, steps up, takes the ring, and whatnot. Lythandr can appreciate that because Lythandr has a pouch with at least 2 rings in it right now. Lythandr strangely sad. "Oh, by the way, Lythandr, I did say there's many valuable things here. Not nailed down."
Yeah, so they're busy talking amongst themselves, presumably slightly distracted, making eye contact and all good manners of making conversation. Can he sneak off and try to take some things?
Lythandr can absolutely try that. I want you to make 2 separate rolls.
Okay.
I want you to make a deception roll so that you are trying to, not be noticed. It's not stealth because you're not trying to hide.
Right.
But you're trying to just act nonchalantly, which would be deception. And then make a sleight of hand roll.
13 for deception. 19 for sleight of hand.
Can we notice this also?
Had you guys probably thought of it in advance and said something, I would absolutely say yes. But
What?
Lythandr was purposely like standing behind you all and making sure
Right.
that he was standing out of your way.
Yeah, I was just curious if I would get some sort of perception check or something, but
Well, the part that Lythandr was doing was pretty much when you were up near him
sure.
doing the fur and whatnot. So we're gonna honor Lythandr doing her own thing here, his own thing. Sorry, don't want to insult any genders. Lythandr does his little thing and whatnot, but one of the things that you do notice is that Lythandr seems ready to leave and whatnot, and Blue Ost and the Goliath haven't said anything. So you would go back out to the main area and whatnot. You're escorted out by the Goliath, who thanks you again and says, "I'm very pleased you were able to put some pleasure in him before he dies. What happened to his daughter was very traumatic to him."
Before he dies?
He planning
Yes.
to take his own life, or?
No, but as I understand it, he's he's been on death's door
Is there
for
like
quite
a
some
will
time.
involved in this?
Well, he does have the will to survive. As far as I can tell, he's been hanging on for quite some time.
It's a shame that he no longer has a daughter to give all of his fortune to.
It is. She was expected to take over the family business, but he disowned her once she started hanging out with this Yek. Pretty sure that's why Yek must have killed her. Killed her.
Oh,
Hey, come on.
it's unfortunate.
Once you guys are back outside, the Goliath thanks you once again. Where do you want to go from here?
Sharpest steel?
Well, looking between Iounia and Lythandr, NorthWatch will bring up, do you not need rest? You've been moving slower and with less stability.
Oh, did you remember the disadvantage on those checks?
I
No.
didn't, so I'm going to let it stand because I don't want players going against players, so.
We were both about the same rolls anyway, but...
But I'll give you a plot point for reminding me.
No, he's just commenting because he's always keeping an eye out, and it seems like his companions are not at 100% efficiency right now.
Fine.
I'm not certain that that's the truth.
I'll be fine for a little bit longer. The longest I've gone is 4 days. I think we can keep going.
That's
The
impressive.
longest I've gone is 18 hours.
Wow.
I know. I don't mean to brag or anything, but that's definitely under my belt.
Well, you can
I mean,
head
this
back.
is a new record.
I hear that's really good for your skin and stuff.
It is.
You can head back to the Rat's Paw Tavern if you want a drink. You can head down to the terminal if you want to see the chaos that you guys unleashed. You can head back.
I thought we were going to Sharpest.
You can try and
It
find
sound-
Sharp as Steel. Absolutely.
Yeah, it sounds like Sharpest Steel is the destination, if it's even open. Well, it's the morning now, so could be.
With a little bit of talking, a little bit of conversation, Barry, who's already familiar with the place and more than happy to start talking to other individuals, he approaches some, you get some directions, and it doesn't take but an hour or so with talking to people to find out not only where it is, but to actually make your way to Sharpest Steel. You know where you're at by the many ringing of hammers. This area has more than one blacksmith. Sharpest Steel has a sign out front with a dagger and a sword crossed over one another. Written
Okay.
underneath, in both Orcish and Common, are the words Sharpest Steel. And now you realize why Blue Ost was saying Sharpest. It doesn't say Sharpest Steel, it says Sharpest. It's spelled incorrectly.
Okay.
Okay, time to go in.
Walking inside, you find, and there is no sales counter or anything else. There's just walls of weapons along the wall and whatnot. And there's a half-orc back there hammering away at a forge. And yet somehow, without you knowing, or without you understanding how, he knows you're in there. And he stops what he's doing, turns around, looks over at you, and his gray-green skin appears old. And he puts down the tongs and whatnot, looks at you and says, "Selling the Warforged?"
No. He's part of our party. We're actually here to inquire about another sale that you made recently.
He coughs, he says, "I don't recall selling you nothing."
Not us. I pull out the receipt and I walk over and hand it to him. The Yak? I believe you worked with him on a special weapon. Custom.
"I don't recall nothing about that."
Well, we have his receipt right here for this place, and we know about the weapon. He used the weapon to kill somebody. He's already been arrested. We're just kind of trying to chase down the loose end.
Takes it, looks at the receipt. "Yep, Sherpa Steel, that's me."
It's a very nice facility that you have here.
Actually, yeah. Can I assess the weaponry and see if it's quality? Like,
Absolutely. Make a straight intelligence roll.
yeah, I was gonna say, what would that be? Intelligence isn't the best. Not the best thing that little Northy has.
It's okay, you never know what the DC is.
14.
Seems of a mediocre grade to your eyes. I mean, not horrible. You don't see any handles hanging off. The wraps are all in place. But you've seen Warforged and whatnot with better built-in weaponry on some of them.
Well, I mean, nothing compares to something made by House Cannith, so.
And that might be it. This is made by a half-orc.
Yeah. NorthWatch keeps that information to himself.
He looks and he says, "So I sold something. Custom made." He goes, "You want something custom made? I can make it for you."
We were actually wondering if he brought the weapon here to be maintained, or if you had the weapon here, if you could confirm just the description of the man that you sold it to, anything really.
He goes, "You already said that you were here checking up on Yak. You got his receipt in your hand. That's his name right there."
And you can confirm then that this is in fact the receipt for the. Can you describe what the custom weapon is?
He goes, "It's got a description right on it."
Does the receipt have a description? I just thought it said custom.
No, it describes it.
I had a description of the weapon, yeah.
I missed that detail.
It's all right. It's all right. Hey, we're all helping one another. Shared game.
All right. What was I gonna say next?
I think we just wanted to have confirmation that it was made here and it was delivered to this particular customer.
He goes, "That's what the receipt says." He goes, "And I can tell you that, yeah. He paid for it. He picked it up. Just picked it up, 48 hours ago."
That recently.
It was, 48, 40, something like that. It was,
About 2
I
days.
count pretty good.
And he didn't bring it back here at all to be maintained or cleaned or anything.
He goes, "He just bought it." He goes, "How dirty is he going to get in 2 days?"
I don't know. When you murder stab people, weapons get dirty.
Man, Amelia
We
goes,
don't like
"Whoa,
to
I ain't
hear
saying
murder
anything about
stab
murder."
around
He goes,
here.
"I don't know anything about that."
No, not you. Him.
You see that you have immediately put him off. He's like, "I don't know anything about what you're talking about."
There's no belief that you're involved in a murder. We're simply requesting assistance in collecting information about the murderer. That's all. And it sounds like we have what we need, if I am not mistaken, Lady Iounia.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else that we would need here. We confirmed the validity of the receipt.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, "Yeah, I can confirm that's mine, but that's all." Because if you ain't buying, there's the door.
Thank you very much for your time.
Is there like a dagger available? Like just a dagger?
You want to ask him? Or you
Well,
want
is there one that NorthWatch can see within grabbing distance.
Yeah, make a botch check.
A what check?
Botch. Roll and see if you get below a 5.
Oh, okay. So
It should
just
be
roll a
easy to
d20.
spot, but,
Okay.
you know. That's why we do a botch check. So, no, there's no daggers here.
Oh, no.
Interesting. Yeah, that's all.
Seems odd since he has a picture of a dagger and a sword on the wall, but obviously the guy only makes custom daggers. If you figure maybe that's why Yak had to order one.
Maybe he just sells them too fast. Can't make them faster than he sells.
Of course, you can always ask.
You can always ask for a custom one.
No, he sees that his companions are leaving, and
Does the receipt have a price for what that custom dagger cost the Yak?
It does.
How
And
much did he pay for that?
the price on it is outrageous.
interesting.
The price on it is 21 gold and 5 silver.
That is way too much for a dagger.
Mm-mm.
Who would
Lythandr could make daggers for cheap.
Sure. The man must either not know how to barter or like have no idea how much to pay for a weapon, or else like got something else with the weapon, but like there's something else on the receipt, right?
Now, it is a custom make, but
I mean, yeah,
compared to a
like,
regular dagger,
A
that's
loyalty
ridiculous.
payment, perhaps?
I mean, I would expect it to be more expensive than a regular dagger. Sure, I'm expecting custom and stuff, but like 21 gold is a lot to pay for one weapon.
It was worth it.
I guess so.
Do you want to head out from here, or do you want to ask him any last questions?
I can't think of anything else to ask.
I think we're all set.
I think our characters all need some rest.
That's
R and
true.
R.
Where do we want to try and get rest at?
I'm
I
sure
think that's-
Lythandr knows some sort of local inn or tavern to be sleeping at. He is used to Shater.
That is true. You know that if you need super cheap, you could go up to the Wall District and whatnot, which is the former place that Sharn actually kept prisoners of war. And
We don't
whatnot, 'cause
need-
don't forget that Sharn is the Brelish Empire. But of course, now that the war is officially over, you know, the doors of the wall are open and many people live there cheap. It's actually where many of the refugees from the Mournlands go, because it's so inexpensive.
We don't need super cheap. Like, you know, maybe somewhere where like thieves might not rob us in the middle of the night would be nice.
Well, if you've got money, you know, anything can be had. How much do you want to spend?
Just somewhere moderate. Like somewhere that you know, like you have a locked room.
Well, Lythandr and Barry have a couple. Barry likes to spend, you found out, more expensive things. He likes to try and use his talents as a wizard to impress people and get them to actually give him money. Lythandr has other ways of earning his coin, which have given him some contacts in the town over his time here. And he's able to identify another inn. It's not in Dura, it's actually in some of the lower levels, because down on the lower levels is where things are cheap. But you can find something pretty standard up on the Memphis Plateau. It takes you a couple hours to get there, so it's already after breakfast by the time you arrive. But, you know, now the advantage is, and you actually use this if you want as part of your selling point to talk down the price. Hey, look, people have already checked out for the night. You can go there, sell us some rooms. Do you want to get a group room, or do you want separate rooms?
How do you feel, Iounia? You are a woman, a very nice woman. If you would like a separate room, I don't mind.
I'm fine bunking. I'm really quite comfortable bunking.
Then we'll all bunk together.
NorthWatch, are you going to be staying with them, or are you going out on the town because you don't need rest?
Well, I do need rest, but I don't sleep, if that makes sense. I need to be inactive for about 6 hours. but I'm not sleeping during that period. So yeah, he'll do the latter half of his name and just watch the party while they sleep.
Solid.
This is probably familiar to a couple of them if they stayed at the inn that he ran for a brief period of time.
So how much for a group room?
They're able to get you a group room for... Because he'll kick out all the others, and they actually have a flop room, which will have multiple beds in it for up to 12 people, and he'll give you the whole room. If you only want it for 8 hours, which means it'll be available tonight, he'll shut the door and whatnot and let you guys just have it alone for the next 8 hours, and he'll charge you only 1 gold.
And as a matter of fact, I'm fine bunking with you guys as long as none of you guys are so light of sleepers for the fact that I toss and turn in my sleep quite a lot.
That's fine.
I don't sleep
And
very well.
Lythandr will slide over a gold.
Lythandr slides over a gold, and when you're up in the room, Lythandr's going to have some time alone to look at everything he has procured for the day. Are you sharing that with your friends, or?
No.
Then I will send that to you privately after we're done. And that's where we'll end it for tonight. You guys actually have rest, and don't forget, today, you're actually going to have to show up at some point. So by tonight, you best check in, because don't forget, by midnight, your 24 hours is up. So get your 8 hours of sleep. It's already after breakfast period. It's 11 now, so by 7 p.m., you can be done with a long rest. You can adjust your character for the long rest. You actually got up to level 2 last time.
Mm-hmm.
So you remain at level 2, and we will pick up having just woken up from your long rest, and you'll have to head over to the Sharn Watch if you want to actually follow what Cable asked you to do.
Okay.
So the very quick breakdown as we end the evening is, what was your favorite part about tonight? And what could we work to improve? And we'll go backwards. We're going to go Iounia, Lythandr, and then NorthWatch. So Arya, what was your favorite part about tonight, and what would you like to see improved?
I think my favorite part of tonight was probably fighting the giant centipede, especially because, like, my first thought I was like, oh, I have lightning stuff. That may or may not do something good. It's a giant hulking construction made of metal, but then I was like, the other two have it. I'm just gonna go chase the yak. And then when the thing finally comes through, I have like lightning damage. Oh wow, it's super effective.
Very effective.
We just keep zapping this thing. You fry it like a bug in a one of the little bug zapping lanterns.
Right.
Great wording for that. Least favorite part? I do not know. I feel like there were a couple of points where, like, we were talking over each other a little bit, but, like, I think it's because everybody wanted to jump in and add their input, and I heard 3 different people talking. I was like, I have no idea what anyone's saying. But,
Oops.
But you know, it only happened like once, so.
Sure.
And how about you, Kitty?
So my favorite part was being able to acquire other people's items. I'm enjoying, even if you have to, like, sometimes remind me because I'm not thinking about it, but, like, I enjoy being able to, I enjoy the fact that Lythandr lives today, actually. On top of it all, like, you know, we had a close experience with Death. Lythandr said hi, Death said hi. It was a great passing. Least favorite part? I'm not sure off the top of my head. I thought today was a really good session.
Fantastic. Seth, how about you?
Being able to just kind of play this character as intended, somebody who's a defender, a helper. I'm always a fan of when that happens. And I'm not a fan of missing all my attacks and almost using a living stool as a weapon.
You know, are you done?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Yeah, so my favorite thing about tonight, I loved watching you all work together. That was just my absolute favorite. You helped one another. I always love watching any show where you see the players integrate well with one another. Least favorite part. Oh, you know, and I will say with that, because you did You advanced beyond just the combat. You then got to the Ost. You actually solved all that. You got out, figuring out that you do actually have something now. So you've resolved the problem as well that should act as more of an implication along with your testimony. So these are beautiful things. Of course, having the dagger would be a real coup de grace.
That'd be nice.
So let's see, my least favorite part about the night was not having Barry here, not having Alex. I was really sad about that. I was hoping that he'd be here tonight. And so I just want to thank all our viewers. We had an amazing time tonight. Looking forward, next week we're going to be rocketing through a bunch of this, rocketing through Sharn, finding more of the unusual things about the magic of Sharn, whether it's a stool that can set itself back in place and is built to specifically avoid being used in a bar fight, or any of the other 1,000 different things that exist in Sharn. We want to thank y'all. Have a fantastic night, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.